I now call the Iberia Parish Council meeting to order for September 25th, 2024. The current time now is 6 o'clock. The prayer will be led by Councilman Broussard and the pledge by Councilman Capel. Councilman Broussard?
Let us bow our heads and say the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us for our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
Amen. Councilman Capel?
Everyone, please face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, members. Madam Clerk, please initiate the roll call.
Francis Pollard. Here. Michael Landry.
Here.
Marcus Broussard. Here. Lloyd Brown.
Here.
Warren Gotchison.
Here.
Natalie Broussard. Here. Dustin Swear. James Trahan. Scott Ronsonet. Brock Pellerin. Brian Napier.
Here.
Lady Fontaine Brown. Cayman Capel. Chad Macherin.
14 members in a quorum. Moving on to council member announcements. I have the gentleman from District 10 is recognized on the comment.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to let everyone know that me and Cayman attended another leadership class yesterday. We had the opportunity to go meet with the school board at the career campus and tour the career campus. School board and the staff is doing a phenomenal job over there. I know most teachers take their job real serious, but these guys and girls that are teaching over here at this career campus, they're really into it. They really like their job. They really like the kids. The school board is doing a phenomenal job out there. I just want to give a shout out to the school board. We also went to IMC North Campus and got to talk with Ms. Dion and Amy and a couple of the girls that work over there, and got to tour the North Campus, the ER, and all the new equipment that they've been investing in over there. They're doing a phenomenal job over there, so hats off to them. We also got to hear from one of the real estate agents and Mr. Jeff Simon, the attorney with the city. So leadership's going real well with me and Cayman. A lot of the classmates are interested in getting involved. I see we have one fellow leadership from earlier class that's applying for board tonight. So just want to let everyone know the leadership is going great for me and Cayman.
The gentleman from District 10 yields back. Is there anyone else on comments? Hearing and seeing none, members, moving on to parish president announcement. President Reshort.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Okay, September the 18th through the 24th, Parish Public Works Department completed several tasks, which include culverts cleaning, debris pickup, field and roadside drainage, road grading, patching and repairs, and other work that you can see actually on this screen right here. We're doing a lot of patching in Iberia Parish. Can't wait to get the road project started. I think our next meeting is October the 1st for a group of parish councilmen. And the second group, we're going to meet, I think, on October the 10th to discuss the priority list on what we're doing. We're also planning on, in October, getting our money bonded for the amount of money we're going to need to get those road projects started. So we're looking forward to that. Next thing is Libe Road Bridge. In reference to the Libe Road Bridge, all drainage, pipe installation, pipe driving, the power beams, bridge rails, decks have been completed. We're all on schedule with that particular project. We expected to have that project completed by the end of October. So the Libe Road Bridge is moving along well. Vita Shaw. Vita Shaw, the contract has completed all structural concrete work on the Vita Shaw Bridge and is currently backfilling the box culverts on the west side. They are also working on applying the Class 3 special finish to the exposed concrete surfacing, and that particular project is going to be completed by the end of November. So we're moving along on your bridge right there. So you should be happy, right? All right, all right. Our legal department is in the process right now of drafting a cooperative endeavor agreement between Iberia Parish Government and Tesh Vermilion Water District to remove several trees in the Laurelville area, the Tesh Lake Canal. This effort reflects our commitment to keeping waterway clean, ensuring safe watercraft and boat traffic, and protecting our community from flooding and environmental risks. Okay, the next thing is we're doing a project that we've been talking about for some time now, and that's the welcome signs. We're going to have welcome signs in Iberia Parish, and they're going to be installed throughout the whole parish at every entrance and exit. The signs aim to improve visibility of the parish boundaries and provide clear welcome markings for both residents and visitors. The initiative is part of the ongoing effort to enhance infrastructure and ensure that Iberia Parish remain easily recognizable and accessible for all of the traffic that's coming into Iberia Parish. This is a big deal for Iberia Parish. This is something I personally think we should have done many, many years ago. When you're driving into different parishes, it's really nice to know where the parish lines start or whatever the case. On the flip side of that, this means we've got to keep our parish clean. Because if it's dirty, they're going to know exactly where it's at. Okay? Additional information, council members, this is for you, really. Cajun Broadband is going to be hosting a pre-Sugarcane Festival event on Friday, September the 27th, starting at 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock, to provide details about upcoming fiber projects in Iberia Parish. All council members are invited, and food and beverages will be served. You have to RSVP. All of you should have gotten this. This is a private deal. This is not something open to the public. So hopefully you guys, if you're planning on going, you RSVP already. Speaking about Sugarcane Festival, the Iberia Parish Mosquito Control Abatement District will be conducting aerial spray operations starting this evening for the Sugarcane Festival to try to make the experience more comfortable to where we won't have people getting bit by mosquitoes all over the place. And other than that, Mr. Chairman, that's it. The only thing I would close with is saying remember to visit our Iberia Parish government website. The website is something that we've been using a lot, and if anyone ever get on that website and see where we need to enhance something, just give us a call, and we'll be more than happy to enhance it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, at this time, are there any questions for the parish president? We do have a question by the gentlewoman from District 12.
I don't have a question. I just want to say that I saw the signs on 182, Highway 182, and they look really nice.
Thank you.
And I was so excited. I was on the phone when I saw, and I was like, "Oh my God, have y'all seen the new signs?"
Yeah, we're
So,
doing,
yeah,
them,
no.
we're doing them throughout the parish.
They look really nice.
It's a big deal. And another thing we're going to try to do in the parish is on Highway 90, we want to try to get the big welcome signs to Iberia Parish. And another thing I'm looking at doing is working with our delegation to see if we can actually change on I-10 to where we're not, when you get on I-10 and you're coming to New Iberia to show Morgan City, well, we wanted to show Iberia Parish.
Good.
So I'm trying to work on that as well.
Great. I yield back.
The gentlewoman yields back. The gentleman from District 2 is recognized.
Why they don't have a sign off Interstate 10?
Well,
I
we
never could
tried that
understand.
many years ago, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it was said that it was, I don't know, let me not answer that question.
Distance.
How about if I try to revisit
I
that?
remember they said something about we was too close to Lafayette, so they had to go to Morgan City, but they didn't think about
Opelousas, yeah, Opelousas is the same distance from here.
Yeah, so,
But I can, way back in the day, Morgan City had a lot of all field stuff going on. And I can see it because a lot of people was going to Morgan City to get on boats and things like
was
that.
bigger than Morgan City.
Well, I'm not gonna say anything, man.
I'm
just,
gonna open my mouth.
I'm trying to help the past delegation, man. I don't know.
The gentleman from District 2 yields back. Anyone else on questions for the parish president here and seeing none? Moving on to public comments, I need a motion to go into go back into special regular session. I have that motion by Councilman Brown, second by Councilman Carpel. Vote your machines, members, to go into regular session. Public session. I'm sorry, public session. Thank you, Mr. Broussard. That motion carries unanimously. We're now into public session. Number one, comments from the general public on agenda items. We do have Mr. Eugene Saunier, who is applying for Hospital Service District, summary number 179. 179. Mr. Saunier, if you can just step up to the mic and state your name and address, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Eugene Saunier. I am a native and resident of New Iberia, living at 4215 Hazard Road here in the parish. I'm applying to be on the Iberia General Hospital Board. I'm a 1984 graduate of New Iberia Senior High, 1989 graduate of the University of Southwestern Louisiana, and a graduate of the Delgado Community College School of Funeral Service Education. Married to the former Stephanie Phillips and the father of two children, Taylor Zanon and the late Eugene Saunier III. I've been currently a licensed mortician in my field for the last 32 plus years, and currently employed 26 plus years at Sarai Funeral Home in Lafayette, Louisiana. I am a 13-year-old post-stroke survivor, and as a result of me being able to survive a stroke, I have taken a great interest in not only the health of myself, but that of others, in terms of the wellness, the rehabilitation, and the quality of services that they receive, and would consider it to be an honor if appointed to the board. Thank you.
Members, at this time, are there any questions for Mr. Saunier? Hearing and seeing none. Thank you for wanting to serve the community. We
you.
appreciate it,
You're
sir.
welcome.
Moving on, we have Mr. Warren White to address summary number 183 for reappointment to the Veterans Memorial Board. I'm sorry, Robert B. Green Board.
Yeah.
Mr. White, if you can just state your name and address, please.
Okay, my name is Warren White. I live at 1195 Lombard Street in North Iberia, Louisiana. And I'm up here to get reinstated to stay on the board for the Robert B. Green Memorial Building.
Members, are there any questions for Mr. White at this time? Hearing and seeing none. Mr. White, thank you for serving the community. We appreciate it, sir. Moving on, we have Mr. Dusty Hewland to, for summary number 177, appointment to the Airport Authority. Mr. Hewland, if you can just state your name and address for the record, please.
Yes, sir. My name is Dusty Hewland. I live at 1000 Center Street in New Iberia, Louisiana. And I am asking you guys for an appointment to the Airport Authority Board. I'm a lifelong resident of New Iberia, born and raised here. I'm also married to my wife of 15 years. 16, I apologize. 16 years. I'm in trouble. 16 years. We have 3 children, Abigail, Caroline, and Giles. I've decided to stay here in New Iberia and Iberia Parish to serve the community. I've served this community in many facets in volunteer work, along with my 10 years of service with Katie Namblins on the streets, serving the community. I'm also a graduate of New Iberia Senior High School. I have a paramedic degree from South Louisiana Community College in emergency medicine. I also have a bachelor's degree in occupational safety and health from Columbia Southern University. I also am a graduate, like Mr. Pellerin said earlier, a graduate of Leadership Iberia 21. Please don't hold that against me if I moderated or time kept in any of your debates that the chamber held. Currently, I am a occupational safety and health manager for Advanced Safety. I take care of many different safety and health programs for our community in and around different industries of construction, all field, municipalities, food management, many different aspects. I've demonstrated my volunteer work in the community through the Coastal Conservation Association, serving as past president, national board member, and state board member. I'm also a member of KC Council 3425 as a third-degree knight. I'm also a member of the Louisiana Sugarcane Festival, High Sugar, this week. Pulling hair out this week. Also served as a St. Edward's School Advisory Council member and worked with a few of you on that board. Iberia on Tap. I am a board member of Iberia on Tap for serving the community, and also a board member of the Iberia Rod and Gun Club. I'm dedicated to your parish and have proven myself in hard work through the career civic duties. Thank you for your nomination. I believe that I'd be best fit for this authority because I feel like the Iberia Parish Airport, Keenan Regional Airport, is a staple of our community and of our city. It connects us in Iberia Parish to the rest of the world. Many of you don't know, but the airport is a 5,000-foot long airstrip, 200-foot wide. 8,000 square foot airport, 200-foot wide, and it's one of the longest airports in the United States. It's also a landing site for NASA, for the American military, the Air Force. Just yesterday, I've seen 2 Air Force jets that were there refueling, staying, and coming. And that's just the commercial side of it. The business side of it is a whole different area. With over 2,325 acres of real estate around the airport, it is there for the taking for the community to flourish. And it's there. We first see it by First Solar with $1.2 billion project that is going on there. The airport is where the parish can subsidize from the royalties that the oil and gas we lost from the oil and gas, and I believe that very firmly. So I ask for your consideration to this Airport Authority Board, in which you're blessing High Sugar, and enjoy the weekend.
Mr. Hewland, before you go anywhere, first of all, thank you for being here tonight. It's not often that board members come before us and bring their family. If you wouldn't mind, ask your family to stand up, because a lot of times you take away a lot of time from your young family. They can stand up. We want to give you all a round of applause.
Thank you.
Because the real sacrifice is with your family being able to serve on these boards. So again, thank you for allowing them to be here tonight
And if you
and
allow
to
me,
service
I'd
our
like to
community.
introduce my wife, Jolie, my oldest daughter, Abigail, Caroline. They're both students at Catholic High, a freshman and an 8th grader at Catholic High. This little buddy right here is Giles. All right. He's a kindergartner.
And I think you-
kindergartner at St. Edward School.
And I think you told me earlier he flies out of the Acadiana
He
Regional
does
Airport,
fly.
right?
Yes, he runs up and down the runway. But yes, he does fly.
Beautiful family,
Also, also, my parents are here, Harold and Phyllis Hewland. They support me in everything I do, and I thank them for that.
Family's number one.
Absolutely.
Congratulations, beautiful family.
Thank you.
Members, are there any questions for Mr. Hewland this time? Hearing and seeing none? I'm sorry, did you have one?
Absolutely. Yes,
Thank you
sir.
for being here, sir. Thank you for wanting to serve the community.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it. Moving on next to Mr. Daniel Aber to address summary number 175 for reappointment to Acadiana Fairground.
Good afternoon. My name is Daniel Hebert. I live at 1299 Louisville Highway, St. Martinville. I got appointed to the Sugarina Board in January or February to complete someone else's term, so my appointment is up. So I just applying for reappointment. My main consideration with the Sugarina is to help the kids with. I got 4 grandkids that show livestock in Iberia Parish, and is to help with that endeavor. Thank you.
Members, are there any questions for Mr. Aber? Hearing and seeing none. Thank you for your service to the community. We appreciate it, sir.
Thank you.
Next, we have Mr. Blair Aber to address summary number 176.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen of the board. Those of you who've been around, I think y'all know me. For the new councilman, nice to meet you if I haven't met you. I've been the county agent or 4-H agent here since 1997.
State your name, please.
Oh,
and time.
Blair Aber. My address is, I use the office address, but my personal address is 4623 Grant Road, Erath, Louisiana. This position is an ex officio position that somebody from the county agent's office that LSU Ag Center needs to fulfill. I've been on the Sugarina board for, I think, 20 years. And I was there when the first equipment came, when we unloaded it. The Sugarina will be 25 years old come the festival. It was the first event we had other than a little pre-party we had. So I'm just glad to serve as the county agent now. And kind of like Danny said, serving the agriculture community and the youth is why I'm here. And hope y'all let me have another 5 years of this. Appreciate it.
Members, are there any questions for Mr. Aber? Hearing and seeing none. Mr. Aber, thank you for your service to our community. Moving on to Mr. Anthony Dronette to address summary number 174, appointment to the Acadiana Fairgrounds Commission.
How we doing? My name is Anthony Dronette. I live at 7806 Jefferson Island Road. Kind of similar to Mr. Daniel. We just finished up on a seat on the Sugarina and just looking for a reappointment.
Members, are there any questions for Mr. Dronette? Hearing and seeing none. Mr. Dronette, thank you for wanting to serve the community.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Next, we have Mr. Leon Minville to address the appeals process. Mr. Minville?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen of the council. I'm here on behalf of Assessor Ashley Spiker. There is to be a board of review today. The purpose of a board of review, according to the guidelines set out by the Louisiana Tax Commission, it says the board of review shall consider all written complaints in which the taxpayer has timely filed the reports as required by RS 472301 and RS 472321. and which have been: 1, filed on the complaint form provided through the Office of the Assessor; 2, completed in conformity with the requirements of the Board of Review; 3, received by the Office of the Assessor no later than 3 business days after the last date on which the lists are exposed. And as of the 18th of September was the 3rd business day after the lists were exposed. No appeals were filed with the Assessor's Office pursuant to the Tax Commission requirements. It was properly advertised, and we have the affidavit from the Daily Iberian that the books of the assessor will be open from August the 28th to September the 12th. They were actually open till September the 13th due to the hurricane. The 3 business days were the 16th, 17th, and 18th of September. No appeals were filed on any of the valuations. Therefore, there is nothing for the Board of Review to hear tonight. There were no appeals filed. The Tax Commission provides that the assessor establishes the dates to publish, and the assessor did that and advertised properly. The advertisement had the statement: you must submit all information concerning the value of your property to your assessor before the deadline for filing an appeal with the Board of Review. Nothing was filed. Each assessor shall publish 2 notices of the parish's Board of Review. They were published on September the 4th and September the 18th of this year. Everything has been done in conformity with the Louisiana Tax Commission. No appeals were filed. Therefore, there is nothing for the Board of Review to review tonight. Thank you.
Members, are there any questions for Mr. Menville? I'm sorry, legal does have
And
some.
just, Mr. Chairman, I'd like the minutes to reflect that no appeals were filed. I've reviewed all the documentation referred to by Mr. Menville, and also correspondence with the assessor's office. So no appeals were filed
Okay.
properly.
Members, I'm sorry. Thank you, Mr. Alfred. Are there any questions for Mr. Menville while he's here? Hearing and seeing none, Mr. Menville, thank you for being here.
Thank
sir.
you.
Moving on next to Mr. David Grona to address the appeals process. Mr. Grona, if you can just state your name and address, please.
Hi, I'm David Groner, a candidate for assessor of Iberia Parish. My address is 26 Oak Bend, New Iberia, Louisiana.
Thank you, sir.
So today is a day that's guaranteed by our United States Constitution. It's the right we have to what's called due process of law. It's a right guaranteed as a freedom, such as freedom of expression, the right to bear arms, and the right to due process of law. So what does that mean? It means that an individual is given adequate notice, a fair hearing, and an opportunity to present their case before any government action is taken against them. But for you today is the right for every property owner in Iberia Parish to present an appeal if they feel the interim tax assessor has unfairly increased the value of their property. The interim tax assessor says the law requires the assessor to notify every property owner in an assessment year of the new value that has been placed on their property so they can object by way of appeal. So here's come from the Louisiana House of Representatives. It says, the assessor is required to send written notification to property owner relative to the amount of an assessment under these 3 scenarios. 1, after a statewide reassessment. This is the year of the statewide reassessment. And then after that, it says 2 other things. So that's the problem we have today. Spiker has publicly spoken at 3 different public forums on this issue: the Chamber Forum, the West End Forum, the Rotary Club Forum. At each one, she testified that she mailed out notices of property reassessment to property owners in Iberia Parish in March, April this year. She said if people didn't get their letter, it was the post office's fault.
I was one of the first assessors to put the current revaluation values on the website in March. Those letters were printed in March. They were mailed in different batches for financial reasons, and they were all due by June. By law, you have to send out letters 15 days prior to your open book period, which started on August 28th. did send the letters out, and I always believe in transparency, and that's why I put everything on my website. I put it on in March, February, March, and we did mail out the letters, so I'm done with that.
You're done with that. So, did you get assessment letters? Did y'all all get reassessment letters sitting up here in the council?
David, where are we
No.
going with this?
Which what?
I don't understand where you're going with this.
He's got a minute, then you can ask a question. Go ahead, you have a minute left, and then we'll take.
Because when people call the assessor's office, now they're told that they only send assessor's letters out if your assessment exceeded 15%. She never said that when she was asked at the 3 forums. She intentionally wanted to deceive the public and not admit publicly that she was not going to notify everybody in the parish. This is where I'm coming from, because you had a right to be notified. So if you knew your assessment, you could complain about it and come before the Board of Review. Since you didn't get a letter, how would you know what your new assessment was? So what happened is your property's going up, could be up 14.9%. Over her 4-year term, that could be almost a 60% increase in property value, a 60% increase in your taxes. All this without you knowing about it, without you having a right to appeal. Instead of being honest with the public, we're told lies, we blame the post office, and then we admit the letters were never sent. Is this what you want in transparency in the assessor's office? Why did she do this? Pure politics. She knew she would lose votes if people are upset with the new assessment she made, so she made the choice not to follow the rules, but to go hope no one would care by not getting their letter. Is this? Yes.
Go ahead and finish that last statement. The time has expired, Mr. Groen.
Together, we can change this situation and elect an assessor that'll be transparent. The choice is yours. Your voice really matters.
Are there any questions for Mr. Groen at this time? I do have a question about a gentleman from District 11 is recognized.
Not really a question, but to legal, is this the place for this?
So generally, we stick to announcements for candidacy and maybe a little bit about what a candidate is trying to accomplish. This kind of strays a little bit into personal attacks.
Yeah, I don't think.
And I think that's
I don't like this
inappropriate
at all.
for this venue. This is not a place to go out and put on an attack ad. This is a place of community where you come and announce your candidacy.
This is a denial of due process, Mr. Counsel. The Constitution of the United States allows due process. You should know that.
He's our legal. I'm gonna go with what he's saying. Should we be hearing any more of this? I mean, I don't mind you saying it in another setting. I'm not saying that. It's just I don't know that's why I'm referring to our legal. That should we be hearing that type of stuff here? If you want to attack Ms. Spiker, don't do it on our time here. If you want to state something, David, I'm okay with that. But
Okay, I'm stating.
the attacks.
It's not attack,
I don't
it's
like.
telling the truth. It's the truth. You did not get an assessment letter.
All right, gentlemen, did you?
I'm done.
The gentleman from District 11 yields back. Anyone else in a question for Mr. Groen? Hearing and seeing none. Mr. Groen, thank you for being here, sir. Next, we have Mr. John Manus to address summary number 166.
I am John Manus, 213 Hilltop Circle, New Iberia, Louisiana. I am the current board member, past president, and co-founder of the Unexpected Pregnancy Center. The staff and volunteers have assisted families with unexpected pregnancies since 2018. They provided pregnancy tests, ultrasounds, and material services, all free of charge. They offer our clients parenting classes to help them learn and improve their situation. In addition, the Pregnancy Center provides a safe, confidential place for clients to get healthy support systems during difficult times. Our mission is focused on affirming the lives of unborn children through encouragement and guidance. We want to take this opportunity to expand the importance of our pro-life stance. We ask that Iberia Parish approve our resolution to proclaim the month of October as Respect Life Month, all life. We hope to use this time to reflect on the values of all human life. This is a month that we shall come together to build a culture that welcomes all. Regardless of the diversity among us, we begin with protecting the defenseless babies in the womb, preserving the innocence of our children, growing Christian values within families, and fighting very hard to end violence in the community. Respect Life Month in Iberia Parish will encourage all citizens to set aside a time to honor life and preserve families by cherishing, defending, and protecting all human life, both born and unborn, with compassion and respect. In closing, I encourage everyone to learn more about the Unexpected Pregnancy Center, and please consider supporting us in any way possible. At present, we are hosting an annual shrimp boil in October, with proceeds benefiting the clients of the center. I have tickets available, and there is tickets available at the Pregnancy Center. Furthermore, to celebrate our clients' accomplishment, we are gearing up for our Christmas program, where we'll help a lot of the moms and their babies through a difficult time. If you want to get involved, please contact us for more information. And last but not least, I would like to say if anyone has any questions or concerns at any time, please do not hesitate. Don't talk to your neighbor. Come talk to me and I can tell you everything about it. Thank you very much.
Members, are there any questions for Mr. Manus? Hearing and seeing none, thank you for being here, sir. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And our final comment card, Mr. Walter Armour, to address summary number 172.
What's that last name again?
Elmer?
Okay.
Had to make sure, huh?
Yeah. How y'all doing? My name's Walt Elmer. I live at 302 Old Road in New Iberia, Louisiana. And I came with the notion of letting whoever needs to know that I did not receive, I was the one of them who did not receive an assessor's letter. I didn't know I was coming to jump in the middle of a political storm. So I didn't come here to point fingers at nobody. I'm just making y'all aware that I'm one of them that did not receive the new assessment.
Okay.
I like silence. Is everything good with you?
Thank you, Mr. Walt.
Y'all take care. Have a good day.
You too, buddy. Thank you for being here. Moving on, members, to item A, Madam Clerk.
Public hearing for the council to act as board of review to obtain public comments and/or objections regarding property valuations as established by the Iberia Parish Tax Assessor for the year 2024.
Ian, did you?
Yep, just repeating my previous comment, we received no timely appeals. Therefore, we don't have anything to publicly hear for this process for tonight.
Okay.
So we just want the record to reflect that so that you see that we did our part.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Item B, Madam Clerk.
Dysautonomia Louisiana Incorporated founder Carmen Gonzalez to address the council regarding the month of October being proclaimed as Dysautonomia Awareness Month.
Ms. Gonzalez, if you can just state your name and title for the record.
My name is Carmen Gonzalez. I'm from Fire Tower Road in Ponchatoula, Louisiana. That's a Tangipahoa Parish. And thank you guys so much for having me on your agenda today. I am the founder of an organization that's volunteer-based. It's called Dysautonomia Louisiana. And I founded this about 2015 when I started to raise awareness about a health condition that had come amongst me. I got sick in 2009 and it took 5 years. I was in a hospital 28 times, had 4 heart surgeries, numerous doctors throughout Louisiana, traveled to Houston, traveled to Mobile, could not find a diagnosis. They finally life-flight me, and then I ended up at Vanderbilt. They diagnosed me in one day with the same exact testing they did in Louisiana, and I was livid because I had just struggled for 5 years through very difficult times. So I decided once we got a diagnosis, there is no cure for dysautonomia. Dysautonomia is a neurological condition. It controls, there's a part of the brain that controls the parts of the body we don't think to control. It's not visual. It's your heart rate, your blood pressure, digestion, your bone marrow production. When you have dysautonomia, the communication systems between all of that malfunctions. So then, you know, the doctors look at your heart and they say, it's doing okay, but it's a little fast. You need to drink more water, eat more salt. And then when your digestion slows up, they tell you what you need to, you know, don't have no gluten, and you need to be doing this, and you need to be doing that. And I'm doing all of this, and I'm still failing. By the time I got to Vanderbilt, I had lost my job. I had to take retirement early. I had a home health nurse 3 days a week and could not walk 12 feet by myself. I had 24-hour care. Wow. I had a 16-year-old and a college student, 21, who was trying to take care of mom now. So our world was turned upside down. A diagnosis made all the difference in the world. 18 months later, with the right diagnosis, I'm not able to cure it, but I am able to manage it. So I formed this organization, and I asked you guys to provide us a proclamation. Dysautonomia Awareness Month is in October nationwide. This is not a rare condition. What it is just rarely diagnosed, and doctors don't know anything about it. So I'm not trying to invent new wheels. I bring information from Mayo and Vanderbilt, and we travel the state in the month of October, and we go find these hospitals. We do awareness days. We find the other people like Corman who are struggling alone, who doesn't know what they have and how to maneuver through that. So we're a network, and that's what we do. We go to hospitals, we go to nursing schools, we go to graduate schools, we go to EMT classes, and we tell them who we are and what we're doing, and all the aspects about dysautonomia. And I ask you to approve that so I can check this parish off my list. And I was just over at St. Landry Parish, and he said that he signed that proclamation before you did.
He's always a step ahead of us.
He's always saying something.
And the sad part was he wasn't on my agenda. We left yesterday. I did Union Parish and was going to do
Good for
Vermilion
you.
today, and I have 3 more parishes. We're going to do 9 between
Hats
now
off
and
to you.
October. And what we'll do is we'll work from this October to next October in those 9 parishes, and then next year we tackle another handful. But I just happened to be driving through St. Landry and pulled in and knocked on his door after he sprinkled me with the water system. So nevertheless.
That's Jesse.
Yes,
We
that's
do have a
exactly-
question. We do have a
Yes.
comment by the parish president.
Okay, once we write the proclamation,
Yes.
what do you want us to do with it? Send it to you or what?
You can send it to me. Normally what we do with it is we put out a formal letter to any hospitals or medical facilities you have, as well as any colleges, community colleges, and say we met with the parish council. This is what we do. This is who we are. We'd love to come by if you have health fairs, if you have any kind of events at your hospital, or can we create an event? We do things like lunch and learns and things like that. So that's basically what we do with the proclamation. We just use it as a gateway to say, they gave us the amen, God bless you, go do your thing.
So did you get the proclamation from Jesse already?
Yes, he did. He printed it and signed it, took a picture and put it on his website already.
Good deal.
Ms. Gonzalez, thank you for being here, and you're welcome to come every year and join us for a
Thank you.
good conversation.
Thank you so very much. I appreciate you greatly. You've all got some awareness material in there. My information, my contact information's in that flyer if you have any questions
luck
about
to
it.
you.
It's being diagnosed now in 1 in every 100 teens, and 67% of people who have COVID long haulers. So it's not going away anytime soon.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Before we move on to item C, members, for what purpose does this gentleman seek recognition from District 11?
So if the council wouldn't object, could we bring up Miss Ashley Spiker, our tax assessor, to address item A under public comments?
Without objection, hearing and seeing none. Ms. Spiker, if you can just state your name and title for the record, please.
Yes, Ashley Spiker, 418 Interlaken Drive. So I have our certified class totals, and I have submitted that to you last week, but this is just a little bit more of itemized, just to give you an idea of what's really happening, what happened this revaluation, and where it's all going. So we lost Cargill, which was huge. It was a barge with $12.7 million. When we did revaluation, I gave y'all an idea of where we were. We were 13 million higher than we were the prior year. As of right now, we are up 23 million. So what happens with revaluation? So the way it works is you revalue your 2023 tax roll for 2024. So we have to revalue all items that were there for 2023. After I submit those numbers, that happens in February, March-ish, what we do at that point is now we start collecting all our inventories and then adding all our new permits. So any new construction, new buildings, commercial, all that good stuff. We had big increases in our inventory, 14 million. Machinery and equipment, $8.6 million. We did plug 2 wells, which we lost 2.2 million there. Residential improvements did go up 5 million. So, and also our watercraft went up. So that's, right now we at 722,187,917 assessed value. That will change because this is where we are. We certify our roll. We certify these values right now. We cannot. Our roll won't get approved until all our millages are set. We're waiting for the school board. I believe we have Twin Parish Port and the sheriff have not submitted their millages. So until that's set, you won't know the taxes at that point. So that's where we are. That's what I have. I have submitted it to you. You just have to adopt, and then we move forward.
The gentleman still has the floor.
I'm good, thank you, Ms. Spiker.
Yes.
I'm good.
Thank you. Moving on to item C, Madam Clerk.
Shay Hope, domestic violence advocate Kelly Cantu, to address the council regarding the month of October being proclaimed as Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kelly Cantu. I work for Shay Hope. We are the domestic violence agency that assists survivors in St. Martin, St. Mary, Iberia, and Assumption parishes. If you are not aware, October every year is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and I'm just here to ask that you guys accept this really pretty proclamation that I have signed, that I have printed up, that hopefully the parish president will sign and take a little photo with me tonight. But basically, it's just acknowledging that October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. If you aren't aware, domestic violence affects 1 in 3 women, 1 in 4 men in the United States. It's about 24 individuals every minute in the United States. So count that out for you, and that's how often domestic violence affects someone. So it is something that is very serious. It's very prominent. It does happen in this parish. And yeah, so that's why I'm here. I also want to invite all of you to attend our Domestic Violence Awareness Month event. It's going to be held on October 3rd at the Steamboat Pavilion from 5 to 7. It's a free event. We hope to see you guys there. There's more information on our Facebook page, so go ahead, find us on Facebook, like it, and then you can see all the things that we do throughout the year.
Members, at this time, is there any questions for Ms. Kelly? Hearing and seeing
I
none?
think she wants to take.
Can you take a picture with me and sign this?
Yes.
Here, I got a pen right here. Blue or black?
No, whatever you got. And I'll just come back here.
Oh, we're gonna take a
one.
picture
Oh,
with the
we're gonna
chairman.
take
The
it
chairman's
over
gonna come up there and
Oh,
take a picture
land
with us.
picture. Oh, yeah.
I appreciate your time.
Yeah, I like that. That's good.
Come on. Yes, I'll take a picture with
Yeah,
you, Mr.
go ahead, Mr. Smile. Smile when you take that picture, Warren.
Thank you,
Janice, get in that picture. Y'all smile. Scott, get out the picture, Brock. Brock's trying to get in that picture.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Oh, I know Scott did. He's always looking for free advertisement.
Come on, Scott.
All right, Madam Clerk, moving on to number 2.
Persons being considered for appointment to parish boards commissions to address the council.
Did anyone walk in late for a board and commission applications? Hearing and seeing none, I need a motion to go back into regular session. I have that motion by Councilman Pollard, second by Councilman Pellerin. Vote your machines to go back into regular session, members. That motion carries unanimously. Moving on to community events and public service announcements. Number 1, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Raymond Shudu Lewis to address the council to announce his candidacy for election for the office of Iberia Parish Tax Assessor.
Mr. Lewis, if you can just state your name and address, please, sir.
had me on Facebook, but for those of you that don't know where I stay, Raymond Q. Lewis, 1230 Angie Street, New Iberia, Louisiana.
Thank you for being here.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to just speak some truth. So we don't need to act legal. I'm going to speak some truth. The State Republican Committee had an opportunity. Some of the candidates went and asked for endorsements from the State Republican Committee. And they said no. They said, Ms. Spiker, two questions that influenced their decision. Why haven't people's new taxes, the increased taxes that went under her experience, why haven't they gotten their mail out to notify them? Her answer was, because 15%, the law, she likes to lawyer up. The law says if it's 15% or more, she has to mail them out. The second question they asked, what candidate, Republican or conservative, have you ever supported? None was her answer. I'm just a conservative. If you look at my card, what you will see, clearly see, someone that hasn't been afraid to make endorsements or campaign for people. If it's the right situation, I don't have a problem doing it. I don't do like maybe some of you might do. Well, you know, I can't. Oh no, I want the best people representing me. Troy Hebert, Democrat, turned independent. I'm gonna talk about myself. Taylor Barra, Democrat turned Republican. Fred Mills, Democrat turned Republican. Blake Miguez, when nobody hardly else elected in this parish, nobody but me and Mr. Brown that I know of, supported him. True Republican. Terry Landry, Lloyd Brown, Dee Dee Johnson-Reed, Reverend Arthur Alexander, Robert Swear, David Merrill, all Democrats. David Ditch, true Republican. Now, we talk about experience matters. Experience does matter. You got good experience and you have bad experience. We've experienced under this new appointed assessor bad experience. Taxes have gone up. Tell me, be real with yourself as council members. Where have we grown in this parish? They were fighting the solar panel. Some of you might have been with that. That's the first opportunity in a long time we've had. You got a question?
No, look, I'm saying,
If you got a question.
Look, this is the council.
Do you have a question?
No, I'm gonna make
Okay.
a statement right here, is that you here to announce your candidacy, not to bash Ms. Spiker or anyone else.
I'm not
Talk
bashing.
about-
I'm
Yeah,
talking
you are.
facts.
All right, gentlemen.
People
But
should
no,
know.
that's not what this is
People
for.
should know. I know that's your home, girl, but that's okay.
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah,
that's
but that
okay.
has nothing
And
to
that's
do with
okay.
it.
All right, guys, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Mr.
That's
Lewis,
okay.
if you can kind
Okay.
of finish up the.
Talk about you.
I'm going to talk about me. 6 times elected. Working with people. Not just taking care of myself, my families, and my friends. You've heard about me, Mr. Napier.
Absolutely.
And I've done work all over this parish. Still doing work. I got a call from a colleague about a sign. In a day, that sign was gone. He said it presented a hazard. In one day, that sign was gone, moved. I said, I know what you're talking about. But as an elected official, I have served the public.
in my private work. I work for one of the largest retail company in America, in the world, where I manage inventory control, had 80 employees, where I dealt with not nickels and dimes. I dealt in November and December when people are going to be spending money, and then come January, you're going to be hit with an increased tax bill. I've managed hundreds
Mr. Lewis, if you could just
hundreds
wrap
of
it up,
thousands
sir,
of dollars.
Wrap it up, Mr.
So,
Lewis.
if you want somebody that's gonna work with you, and Larry, I'm coming to work with you. I'm gonna work with Freddie too. I'm not just gonna sit in that office 9 to 5. I'm going to help sell Iberia Parish, sell the city, because I'm an advocate of doing things and getting things done. And last and behold, what I'd ask you to do, you have an obligation, as many as your constituents as you can, to tell them their taxes went up. 9 months, their taxes done gone up. And with that said, number 16, Raymond Shudu Lewis. And I've never been called a liar, or I've never been said that I've taken anything from anybody.
For what purpose does
Thank you.
the gentleman from District 10 seek recognition?
Mr. Lewis, I just want to say thank you. I'm the one that called about the sign.
Well, I
and
didn't
you
want
are-
to call you.
You are absolutely correct. The day after I called you, you did go remove the sign. But I also got one other thing to say. Iberia Parish has made a way to make a assessor's race dirty. We got three excellent people in here. And guys, I just plead to y'all, let's not do this. I mean, y'all all do great things for the parish. Let's just stop this nonsense, please. Thank you.
Mr. Pellerin,
Gentleman from
that's a
District 10 yields back.
schoolyard bully. You just don't know.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis. Madam Clerk, moving on to item 2.
President of Acadiana Ambulance Explorer Post 108, Eli Anderson, to provide information for their enrollment meeting.
If you could just state your name, please, and title.
Good afternoon. I'm Eli Anderson, the president of Acadian Ambulance Explorer Post 108.
Welcome.
I'm here to tell y'all a little bit about our new, our coming up Explorer meeting. Exploring is a unique career study program designed by the Boy Scouts of America for young men and women ages 14 through 20. It provides an incredible opportunity for participants to learn about a variety of career paths while connecting with professionals who already work in those fields. Acadian's Explorer program focuses specifically on the medical field, helping teens and young adults gain valuable real-world experience in emergency medicine. Participants known as explorers get hands-on experience that can help them decide if a medical career is the right fit for them. Explorers have the chance to ride along on ambulances, shadow medical employees, and build a strong medical resume. They also learn important life-saving skills such as CPR and can earn volunteer hours in patient care environments, which not only helps the community but also looks great on the future job or college applications. For those serious about pursuing a career in the medical field, the program offers opportunities to obtain scholarships for EMT school and can serve as a stepping stone to further medical career opportunities. This program isn't just about learning skills, though it also emphasizes personal development. Explorers work together in teams, learning how to problem solve, elect team officers, and cooperate in a professional setting. They provide basic medical services and assistance at community events such as festivals and sporting events, acting as ambassadors for Acadian Ambulance and gaining experience in real-life medical situations. The program is perfect for anyone looking to explore the future in emergency medicine while developing critical team working, leadership, and problem-solving skills that will be useful in any career. On October 9th at 6 p.m., we'll be hosting an information and enrollment meeting right here in Iberia Parish. If you or someone you know is interested in joining the Explorer program, this is a great chance to learn more and sign up. The meeting will take place at Iberia Parish Fire Protection District Training Facility, which is located at 2417 Darnell Road. here in New Iberia. We encourage anyone who is curious about future in emergency medicine to attend. We look forward to seeing you there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Members, are there any questions for Mr. Anderson? We do have one by Councilmember Broussard.
How old are you, sir?
16.
You did a great job, man.
Very
Great
good.
job. If it doesn't work out with Acadian Ambulance, we're looking for people at Bluefin as well. You did a great job. Continue on your path. Great job, man. I couldn't have done it better. Good
The
job.
gentleman from District 3 yields back. The parish president on the comment.
Just so everyone know, he is the child of our communications coordinator, Joe.
All right.
If I'm not mistaken, I think you're a sophomore in high school. And you're probably the youngest or one of the youngest involved in this organization. And they picked him to speak.
Wonderful. You did a great
He's the
job.
president. He's currently serving as the president. Currently serving as the president. That's awesome. Congratulations to you.
Great, great.
Stay around out here, Kyle.
Taking after your mom, look like, man. Oh, okay, there you go.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson.
I
Appreciate
surely
your good
will.
work.
Thank you, very good.
Moving on to reports from finance and administrative actions. There is none. Reports from parish or other governmental agencies. There is none. Public Works reports. There is none. Special business. Madam Clerk, number 1.
Presentation of the consolidated budget statement for the proposed 2025 budgets.
Parish president, did you want to bring up Michelle? Or
Michelle's gonna go up. I'm so sorry. I was reading something else, man.
It's okay. Members, this is the first time you probably get to see Miss Michelle. She's one of our wonders behind the scenes.
Yeah, while she's getting up there, I want to tell you.
Miss
Michelle, if you can just state your name and title just for the record.
Okay, I'm Michelle Swear. I'm the Iberia Parish Budget Officer. So for 2025, basically for our property tax revenues, we estimated based on the assessed value for 2023 tax roll with an estimated of 1% uncollectible rate. For our sales tax revenues, they were increased based on the projections for 2024. Our grant revenues were based on the actual awards received to date. Adjustments will be necessary in 2025 for any kind of new awards or any carryover corrections. Our salaries and benefits, we did include increases in the salaries and our group insurance. Retirement expenditures have been budgeted based on anticipated plan contribution percentages. Most of our operating expenditures have been adjusted for any unknown anticipated changes. And then amounts needed to retire our existing debt obligations have been included in the proposed budget. That was just some assumptions on that. Do you have any questions or?
I'd like to make a comment, members. If you're looking at the consolidated statement on the adopted budget till 2025, take a look at the fund balance and general fund. That's
Don't say it too loud, everybody.
remarkable number. You know, every time I do give kudos to that, something breaks or comes about, but
Yeah.
to see that number compared to what it was when
Yeah, for
we
when
had
we
a
got it, when
yeah.
it was handed to us.
But thank
right,
y'all.
Larry?
Right, oh yeah, thank y'all.
Well, we had a bad downturn, but just to see that gives hope that in the next 3 fiscal years, we can really get some things done, additional to what we were already starting to see in the first collection of our road fund. Michelle, did you want to add anything? There's no questions on the board. Short and sweet.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Thank you. See you during the budget.
All right.
Moving on, members, consent agenda items for public hearing and adoption. We have the minutes of regular meeting, September 18, 2024. Summary number 163, introduced by the parish president.
A resolution of condolences to the family of Miss Cynthia Cindy Ann Belger, sister of Chief Administrative Officer Milton Bo Belger, who passed away on August 30th, 2024.
Summary number 164, introduced by Warren P. Gosherson, District 5.
A resolution of condolences to the family of Judge Oswald A. DeQueer, who served as former Third Circuit Court of Appeals for 20 years and former Louisiana State Senator for 17 years, who passed away on September 3rd, 2024.
Summary number 165, introduced by the clerk.
A resolution proclaiming the month of October 2024 as Dysautonomia Awareness Month in Iberia Parish.
Summary number 166, introduced by Warren P. Gosherson of District 5.
A resolution proclaiming the month of October 2024 as Respect of Life Month in Iberia Parish.
Summary number 167, introduced by the clerk.
A resolution proclaiming the month of October 2024 Domestic Violence Awareness Month in Iberia Parish.
Summary number 168, introduced by Lady Fontaine Brown of District 12.
A resolution proclaiming the month of September 2024 as National Suicide Prevention Month in Iberia Parish.
Summary number 169, introduced by the parish president.
A resolution in support Operation Green Light for veterans in Iberia Parish from October through Veterans Day, November 11, 2024, through Iberia Parish, and to join NACO in lighting municipal buildings green.
Summary number 170, introduced by the parish president.
A resolution authorizing the parish president to execute an act of sale with the congregation of St. Peter Catholic Church for surplus property of Iberia Parish government located at Iberia, Washington, and St. Peter Streets, Block 230 of the city of New Iberia in accordance with Louisiana Revised Statute 334711, etc. sequence.
Do I have a motion to open consent agenda items? I have a motion by Councilman Landry, second by Councilwoman Brown. Councilman Landry on discussion.
Waive.
Councilwoman Brown.
To discuss summary number 169,
For what purpose does the gentlewoman seek recognition to remove summary number 169?
for unanimous second.
Is there any objection, members? Hearing and seeing none. Councilman Mathurin on discussion.
I'd like to remove 163 for the same reasons. Unanimous second.
Any objection, members? Hearing and seeing none. Anyone else?
Shouldn't do 164 too.
Is that a motion on the floor by the gentleman from 11? I have a motion on the floor to remove summary number 164. Any objections, members? Hearing and seeing none. Any other discussion? Members will vote final adoption on all items excluding 163, 164, and 169. Vote your machines on final adoption. Those items as publicized. That motion carries unanimously. Now going back to summary number 163, introduced by the parish president. Do I have a motion? I have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Broussard, second by Councilman Pellerin. Councilwoman Broussard on discussion.
Move for a unanimous second.
Let me hold that for a second. Is that okay with the second? Any other main motion discussion here and seeing none? I have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Broussard to invoke a unanimous second. Is that okay with the second? Hearing and seeing none, vote your machines on unanimous second for summary number 163 as publicized. That motion carries unanimously. Summary number 164, do I have a motion? I have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Broussard, second by Councilman Napier. Councilwoman Broussard on discussion.
After discussion, I'll move for a unanimous second.
Is that okay with the second? Is there any main motion discussion, members? Hearing and seeing none, have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Broussard to invoke unanimous second. Is that okay with the second? Any discussion on that? Hearing and seeing none, vote your machines on the unanimous second on summary number 164 as publicized. Vote your machines, members. Councilman Pollard. That motion carries unanimously. Now moving on to summary number 169, introduced by the parish president. Have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Brown, second by Councilwoman Broussard. Councilwoman Brown on discussion.
Move for unanimous second.
Is there any main motion discussion, members, before we take it? Hearing and seeing none, I have a motion on the floor for you to invoke a unanimous second by Councilwoman Brown, second by Councilwoman Broussard. Any objection? Hearing none, seeing none. Vote your machines on final adoption, members, as publicized with the unanimous second. That motion carries unanimously. Now moving on to ordinances introduced for public hearing and adoption. There is none. Resolutions introduced for public hearing and adoption. We have summary number 171, introduced by Lady Brown of District 12.
A resolution for necessary repairs in the amount of $54,621.75 to the American Legion Post 549, Veterans Hall 2, the Harry Eugene, located in Jeanerette, Louisiana, as follows. 1, $16,350.40 for ceilings, grids, fans, tiles, and lights in the hall and kitchen. 2, $15,579.25 for paneling and molding around the public area. 3, $20,192.10 for ceiling and painting frames, doors, cabinets, trimming, and all required painting. And 4, $2,500 for the floor stripping and waxing. Note, this item was deferred at the August 14, 2024 Iberia Parish Joint Committee meeting.
Do I have a motion? I have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Brown. Do I have a second? Second by Councilman Brown. Councilwoman Brown on discussion.
Yes, I would like to amend this resolution.
Councilwoman, let's take main motion discussion first.
Okay.
Mr. Brown, did you have any main motion discussion, or that was just for the second? Okay, members, any main motion discussion at this point before we take any amendments? Hearing and seeing none. Councilwoman Brown, state your amendment.
Okay, so I would like for summary number 171, I'm requesting at this moment that the item number 2 for paneling and molding, and also item number 4 be included, and that item 1 and item 3 be removed. And I'm also requesting that $9,000 be allocated to the project from the building fund, and then an additional $9,079.25 from the general fund.
So the motion on the floor, members, is to strike item 3 and item 2, is that correct? And then to amend the budget to include budgetary item 9,000 from public buildings and 1 and 3, I'm sorry, I apologize, 1 and 3, and include monetary from 9,000 from the public buildings, and then 9,079.25 from the general, is that correct? Is that okay with the second?
Yes.
Any discussion on the amendment, members? Hearing and seeing none, vote your machine on the amendment. On the Brown amendment. That motion carries unanimously. Now back to the main motion with the amendment. Any discussion, members? Hearing and seeing none, vote your machines on the final adoption of summary number 171 as publicized with the amendment. Vote your machines, members. That motion carries unanimously. Now moving on to summary number 172, introduced by the clerk.
A resolution accepting the property valuations for real and personal property for 2024 is established by the Iberia Parish Assessor.
Do I have a motion? Have a motion on the floor by Councilman Pellerin, second by Councilman Napier. Councilman Pellerin, discussion.
I don't think we need to discuss anything. We heard from the assessor, we heard from the attorney.
Okay. The gentleman from District 10 yields back. The gentleman from 11 is recognized. Any other main motion discussion? Members, hearing none and seeing none, vote your machines on final adoption. Summary number 172 as publicized. That motion carries unanimously. Now moving on to summary number 173, introduced by the parish president.
A resolution ordering and calling a public hearing to be held on December 4, 2024 for public comments from the proposed consolidated budget statement for 2025.
Do I have a motion? I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Pellerin, second by Councilman Rossini. Councilman Pellerin, discussion.
Please.
Councilman Rossini. Any main motion discussion, members? Hearing and seeing none, vote your machines on final adoption. Summary number 173 as publicized. That motion carries. Moving on to summary number 174, introduced by the clerk.
A resolution appointing one member to the Acadiana Fairground Commission for a 5-year term to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of term for Mr. Anthony Dronette, whose term expires September 24, 2024. Applications of interest on file: A, Mr. Anthony Dronette; B, Mr. Daniel Abear.
Do I have a motion, members? Have a motion on the floor by Councilman Broussard, second by Councilman Trahan. Any main motion discussions, Mr. Broussard? Mr. Trahan? Any main motion? Hearing none, seeing none, vote your machines on your pad, members. Or vote your pad, either way. Either way. I'm glad none of y'all sleeping tonight. 14 members, we all up tonight.
13.
Wait a minute. Oh, 13, that's right. We have one missing. If I get 14, I'm gonna throw all the votes out, members. We'll try it again. I know sometimes y'all like to vote twice. But make sure your ballot has your district number, members.
Oh, you gotta fill it out.
You gotta vote for somebody.
You gotta choose one, Mr. Brown.
Well, you said vote the ballot.
Yeah, I know. I seen you clicking over there, Mr. Brown.
Wait a minute.
Sorry for the confusion, Mr. Brown. Is Mr. Brown, everybody in?
No, wait on Brown.
Thank you, Ward.
Anything for you, Mr. Brown. All right, the clerk will record the roll as follows. District 1, Abear. District 2, Dronette. District, what is that? District 3?
It's legible.
I don't know. I gotta take
District
this
3,
side.
Dronette. District 4, Abear. District 5, Abear. District 8, Dronette. District 6, Dronette. District 9, Dronette. District 10, Dronette. District 11, Abear. District 12, Dronette. District 13, Dronette. District 14, Dronette. We have 9 for Dronette and 4 for Abear. Congratulations, Mr. Dronette. Moving on to summary number 175, introduced by the clerk.
A resolution appointing one member to the Acadiana Fairgrounds Commission for a 5-year term to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of term for Mr. Daniel A. Bear, whose term expires August 25th, 2024. Applications of interest on file. A, Mr. Anthony Dronette, and B, Mr. Daniel A. Bear.
I have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Broussard, second by Councilman Landry. Councilwoman Broussard on discussion.
Yeah, I think we can remove Mr. Dronette since he was just appointed. in
Is that
summary
okay with the second by Councilman Landry? Any main motion discussion, Mr. Pellerin? Good? Okay. Members, we will strike through Mr. Dronette and accept Mr. Abear by vote. Summary number 175, vote your machines on final adoption, members. That motion carries unanimously. Now moving on to summary number 176, introduced by the clerk.
A resolution appointing Mr. Blair A. Bear to the Acadiana Fairground Commission, representing the county agent's office as an ex officio member for a 5-year term to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of term for Mr. Blair A. Bear, whose term expires on August 24, 2024.
I have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Broussard, second by Councilman Pollard. Councilwoman Broussard on discussion.
Waive.
Councilman Pollard. Any main motion discussion, members? Hearing and seeing none, vote your machines on final adoption. Summary number 176 as publicized. That motion carries unanimously. Now moving on to summary number 177, introduced by the clerk.
A resolution appointing one member to the Iberia Parish Airport Authority for a 5-year term to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of term for Mr. Timothy Boudreau, whose term expires on October 24, 2024. Applications of interest on file from A, Mr. Dusty Hewland.
I have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Broussard, second by Councilman Trahan. Councilwoman Broussard on discussion.
Waive.
Councilman Trahan. Councilman Pellerin. Hearing and seeing no, Mr. Napier,
Just
okay?
so Mr. Boudreau is not applying, just a question.
Mr. Boudreau did not apply.
Did not apply, okay.
The gentleman from District 11 yields back. Any other main motion discussion? Hearing and seeing none, vote your machines on summary number 177 as publicized. That motion carries unanimously. Now moving on, congratulations, Mr. Hewlin. Now moving on to summary number 178, introduced by the clerk.
A resolution appointing one member to the Iberia Parish Fire Protection District Number 1 for a 4-year term to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of term for Mr. Jared M. Swear, whose term expires on August 22nd, 2024. Applications of interest on file from A, Mr. Jared M. Swear.
And he did speak before us at the last council meeting. I have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Broussard, second by Councilman Landry. Councilwoman Broussard on discussion.
Waive.
Councilman Landry. Any main motion discussion, members? Hearing and seeing none, vote your machines on summary number 178, final adoption, as publicized. That motion carries unanimously. Now moving on to summary number 179, introduced by the clerk.
A resolution appointing one member to the Iberia Parish Hospital Service District Number 1 for a 4-year term to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of term for Mr. Brock Romero, whose term expires on November 12, 2024. Applications of interest on file from A, Mr. Eugene J. Saunier II.
Do I have a motion? I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Brown, second by Councilman Trahan. Councilman Brown on discussion. Councilman Trahan. Councilman Landry. Any main motion discussion, members? Hearing and seeing none, vote your machines on final adoption. Summary number 179 as publicized. That motion carries unanimously. Now moving on to summary number 180, introduced by the clerk.
A resolution appointing one member to the Iberia Parish Veterans Memorial Building Advisory Board for a 5-year term to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of term for Ms. Alice Robichaud, whose term expired October 1st, 2024. Applications on file from A, Ms. Alice Robichaud.
Members, let the record reflect that Ms. Robichaud did not appear before the council. I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Landry. Do I have a second? Second by Councilman Pellerin. Councilman Landry in discussion.
I would want to defer till she come and speak to council.
Is that okay with the second?
Yeah, but I'd like to see the person next week.
Okay. Is that okay with the
That's
motion? I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Landry. Before I go any further, any main motion discussion, members here and seeing none, I have a motion on the floor.
Can we get in touch with her?
I do believe the clerk did speak to her. She's going to try to make it to the next one, right?
I received a message that she was unable to come
Okay.
tonight, but we will
Okay. Okay. I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Landry to defer to our next meeting, which is October 9th, and a second by Councilman Pellerin. Vote your machines on deferment, members. Summary number 180 is deferred unanimously. Moving on to summary number 181, introduced by the clerk.
A resolution appointing one member to the General Veterans Memorial Building Advisory Board, number 2, for a 5-year term to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of term from Mr. Cornell DeCluitt Jr., whose term expires October 1st, 2024. Applications on file from Mr. Cornell DeCluitt Jr.
I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Trahan, second by Councilwoman Broussard. Before we begin discussion, members, do you recall if he came? I don't believe he came before us, huh?
No, we have to defer.
Okay, Councilman Trahan, you have the floor at this point. Did you want to defer?
Defer, yes, sir.
Is that okay with the second? Lady Brown, before we do deferment, did you have any main motion discussion? Okay. Defer. Okay, I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Trahan and second by Councilwoman Broussard to defer to the October 9th meeting. Vote your machines on deferment, members. Summary number 181 is deferred unanimously. Moving on to summary number 182, introduced by the clerk.
A resolution appointing one member to the Lydia Veterans Memorial Building Advisory Board for a 5-year term to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of term from Mr. Gerald Myers, whose term expires October 1st, 2024. Applications on file from Mr. Gerald Myers.
Have a motion on the floor by Councilman Pellerin, second by Councilman Landry. Councilman Pellerin, discussion.
Yes, Mr. Gerald King speak last week.
Yeah. Sure did.
The gentleman from District 10 yields back. The gentleman from District 2 is recognized.
Waive.
Any other main motion discussion, members? Hearing and seeing none, vote your machines on final adoption. Summary number 182 as publicized. That motion carries unanimously. Now moving on to summary number 183, introduced by the clerk.
A resolution appointing one member to the Robert B. Green Memorial Building Advisory Board for a 5-year term to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of term for Mr. Warren C. White, whose term expired October 1st, 2024. Applications on file from Mr. Warren C. White.
I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Pollard, second by Councilman Landry. Councilman Pollard, on discussion.
Yes, Mr. Warren came tonight and speak, so he's good to go.
The gentleman from District 1 yields back. The gentleman from District 2 is recognized.
Waive.
Any main motion discussion, members? Hearing and seeing none, vote your machines on final adoption. Summary number 183 as publicized. Councilman Napier, Councilman Trahan.
I'm sorry.
That motion carries unanimously. Now moving on to summary number 184, introduced by the clerk.
A resolution appointing one member to the Iberia Parish Sewer District Number 1 for a 5-year term to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of term for Mr. William LeBeau, whose term expired August 25th, 2024. Applications of interest on file from Mr. William LeBeau.
Members, just for the record, Mr. LeBeau was not able to address us tonight due to a medical issue. So if we can defer him also. I have a motion on the floor to open up by Councilman Trahan, second by Councilman Broussard. Councilman Trahan, discussion. Okay. Is that okay with the main motioner? All right. I have a motion on the floor to defer by Councilman Trahan, second by Councilman Broussard. Vote your machines on deferment for summary number 184 as publicized. Councilman Pollard. That motion carries unanimously. Summary number 184 is deferred to our October 9th meeting. Moving on to summary number 185, introduced by Regional Planning Commission.
A resolution granting preliminary and final plat approval to a subdivision of property belonging to Ronnie Priu, located on Lurville Road in District 9, to subdivide 4,028, 155.91 square feet of property into 4 lots for residential use, subject to compliance with Planning Commission Staff Report PC 2024-0009. All is reviewed and recommended by the Iberia Parish Regional Planning Commission.
Do I have a motion? Have a motion on the floor by Councilman Rossini, second by Councilman Pellerin. Councilman Rossini on discussion.
No, I'd just like to, I'm gonna defer to Mr. Weaver, but I know Brock's probably gonna bring it up. We got final plat approval on this, like we talked about last week, but there are some stipulations. I'm sure you can speak to it. So.
Mr. Weaver, if you can just state your name and title, please.
Jacob Weaver, Permits, Planning and Zoning. So I always say the way the ordinance, the way the resolution reads, it says preliminary final plat subject to compliance with the Planning Commission report. Those conditions in the report are everything. That's the build the road, that's submit your documents, that's, have your, all those approved. Then we submit, hey, a letter of proceed, now they can go start building it. We get to the end. This is not a road construction, so this is preliminary and final, but we do have 2 old right-of-ways. That's kind of what was up for discussion at planning. When we have these T-type turnarounds in these existing subdivisions, sometimes they finish the road, sometimes they don't. That's for, future development. Well, these are 2 that wasn't done. Some of it, they saying it was turtleback. We hadn't shot any elevations yet, but it was get them past this first step. Okay, so how are we going to go finish out this little T-type turnarounds that are connecting to these 4 lots? So these was 10 acres about, we wouldn't say landlocked, but they had the 2 entrances, 2 right-of-ways to the property. And, so they had 60-foot right-of-ways. You have 4 lots. The minimum lot size for a flag lot is 20 to 30, so they're able to kind of break it up as funny as they can to create 4 more residential lots, 2.5 acres, 4, so we would only be permitting 4 homes back there eventually once we get past the little connector roads to finish, So it's going to be a discussion between them and Public Works on who's going to finish the road. That's where we're at, but we got to get past the site plan.
Councilman, you finished?
Yes, thank you.
The gentleman yields back. The gentleman from District 10 is recognized on comment.
Yeah, so this goes to piggyback on what we did last week. You kind of just answered my question, Jacob. This is one of those properties that we've been working on with planning and zoning for quite a few years. Mr. Priyu came to us several times. But my question was, who's going to be responsible to finish that road, since the developer is nowhere around to finish that road so Mr. Priyu can access his property? Because legally, what is this considered? Private property or?
This is public property.
Public property.
This is let's say parish right-of-way for a proposed road. The road wasn't finished. It's part of a subdivision plan to kind of create a middle ground. The subdivider is creating less than 15 lots. So when we do those less than 15 lots, you're allowed to do a private road or aggregate road. Those are the only situations where it has to be less than 15 lots. So in this situation, hey, we might, or they might, let's say we could get just an aggregate road. I mean, it would be a soil tested aggregate proven road, with ditches and drainage. But, let's just say to make it happen faster than later, I think it would be okay if we had an aggregate section maybe there, but that's something for y'all and Public Works to get past, But yeah, I mean,
so
it's
my question is,
back and forth.
Legally, who's responsible to put this road down?
Development and developers, we have developers installing infrastructure in our right-of-way all the time whenever they want to add on subdivisions. So I don't want to add on subdivision. Well, the sewer line's 2,000 feet away. You're going to have to bring it to you. I mean, we'll adopt it. We'll take over maintenance of it, but the infrastructure is usually installed by developers. We're going to have to get a discussion.
Yeah, there's further issues with these road stubs. So one of them is, if the parish does not develop that road and instead abandons it, it reverts back to the adjoining property owners, and now you have this driveway going into someone's private property. So I think this might be a little premature in terms of giving it final approval. Also, whenever you're, I mean, you could just strike the resolution and grant preliminary approval and let the project continue to develop, and then come back for final approval. The disadvantage of that is, like, nobody wants to spend money when they don't know that their plan is on the right track.
See, that's my issue. If we pass this tonight and we legally responsible to build a road, we can't take care of the roads we have now, but we're gonna go build a new road. I got a problem with that. A developer came in here and developed this subdivision. I mean, to me, he should be liable to finish the subdivision, not the parish. And I think across the street that we may have abandoned that right away across the street. I'm not sure, but
there's been a few applications
for
and this is important that we don't.
I just don't feel
them
safe
for future development.
I just don't feel safe approving this like it's written, and we're responsible to make the road. That's
And
That's how I
again,
feel
I, you
about
know, that's, I'm not pushing that, and I just want to clarify on the language. It's all about subject to compliance. The procedures for plat approval are clearly written. You know, so how the language has read in these resolutions, hey, I'll try to compare it to what other planning developments read their resolutions like. But again, it's subject to compliance, the immediate next words, and they have not complied with anything. They have not submitted construction documents. You know, that's how we treat a road, you know, so the drainage impact analysis, the road, the topo design, and then we say, okay, yeah, that looks good, proceed, you know, and then we test it out and walk it and make sure it's right, and then we adopt it, you know. So again, there's some technicals to this. I don't want us to be scared of the language, but I would say we definitely want to go, I recommend maybe we table this one until we get further. You know?
And another thing, you know, you mentioned aggregate, you know, you put aggregate in a subdivision that's been there, you're gonna have some upset neighbors.
Absolutely.
That's my 2 cents on it.
Jacob, I do agree with Brock. We had this discussion at the last meeting. Unfortunately, you weren't able to be here. I think you and I talked about a year or two about looking at these ordinances and start readdressing some of the unclear languages that's in these ordinances. I mean, me and Mr. Matran talked about the same thing. You know, we pass some of these and we never really see these traffic studies, or we never see these drainage analysis. And I know you have a punch list of what has to happen before you give that final approval, but it just, I guess the average Joe that reads the agenda item, you know, we are approving and then giving finalization to something that we hadn't even started on. I mean, look, we had the confusion last meeting about a neighborhood that we gave preliminary approval, but we never even rezoned the property. So again, I think there can be some more updated language put into there, working with legal, both of our boards together. We've done this before, but I do agree, we have to table this. I mean, you know, a lot of people come here and they don't realize creating a road, when we have to take it over, it has to be met at parish standards.
Well, yeah.
And when we talk about parish standards, we're talking about a lot of dollars most people can't afford.
I'll bring, and again, I support that. I'm not, you know, I'll say this though, for developers, when they come here for a vote, they get their preliminary approval, and then they got to go start spending money. And then they get an approval to, let's say, really start spending some money. After you spent that $1 million, to come back here and ask for another majority vote, when we're really just asking for engineering approvals. After this, we're approving site plans, lot sizes, zoning. The engineering approvals, I don't mean to be frank, but you know, so to have these developers come back here and hope that they get a majority vote after they spent a lot of money in engineering, a lot of money. Now those site plans,
No, I'm not disagreeing with that process.
yeah, I just want to clarify for the developer, because that's that back and forth that's why the developments take 5 years.
All right, what is the wishes of the council at this point? I have no, okay, I have a motion on the floor. Is there any main motion discussion, members? I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Pellerin to, you want to defer?
Table it. I want to table it.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a motion on the floor to table by Councilman Pellerin with a date or without a date?
Without a date?
Motion on the floor by Councilman Pellerin to table without a date. Is that okay with the second?
Scott, that's your district. You
No,
good
that's
with
your
that?
district.
It's District 9. I could
Yeah, it
help
is.
him if he needs some help at 9, but I got 11.
That's off of Candleglow, right? That's the one off of Candleglow?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's your district.
It says District
It
9
says
here.
District
It's
9.
not, it's District 11, it's your district.
It's right there.
Boy, it's in between you and Gene.
Brian, you need some help?
Well, I do need some help now, yeah.
Okay.
But then I'm good with it. Let's
Okay,
table it.
motion to table by Councilman Pellerin, second by Councilman Napier, to table without a
Just
date.
ask
Is that
that
okay
we
with
get
you,
these districts right when we write this up, please.
ladies?
Thank you.
All right, vote your machines on the table, members. Table summary number 185.
All right.
Councilman Pollard, Councilman Napier. Councilman Napier. Table. That motion carries. Summary number 185 is tabled without a date. Moving on to summary number 186, introduced by our Regional Planning Commission.
A resolution granting preliminary and final plat approval to a subdivision of property belonging to Dwight Butte located on 4515 Old Generate Road in District 11 to subdivide 10.433 acres of property into 10 lots for residential use, subject to compliance with Planning Commission Staff Report PC 2024-0010, all as reviewed and recommended by the Iberia Parish Regional Planning Commission.
Brian, this is District 11.
I'm well
Motion
aware
on the
where
floor
this
by
one's at.
Councilman Napier, second by Councilman Pellerin. Councilman Napier on
So I
discussion.
know exactly where this one's at. Do we have any problem? I know this one doesn't have a road, but go ahead.
It doesn't have a road. This is, I would say, we added some extra conditions on this one to say that they will not be allowed building permits because they're not creating a road. We had an estate, a family partition. We have farmland to the
This
back.
one's in Olivia, right?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah.
So it was
Crochet
a,
Road.
a large family
On the
getting.
Bayou side,
Yes,
right?
sir. Getting forced into an estate. It's all, overgrown trees right now, and it was stressed in the planning commission report that we're not meeting planning standards, so they will not be granted a building permit. They can't show up at the office for a building permit. If any of these lots ask for any building permits, the whole show comes back to us for planning, so, I just wanna say it. It's not often we have these where we allow these partitions, but sometimes these family partitions have to happen.
Gentleman from District 11 yields back. The gentleman from District 10 is recognized.
I just wanted that stated on record because that was my concern
Yes, sir.
about this one, because we didn't have a private road.
Absolutely.
Hearing and seeing no other main motion discussions, vote your machines on final adoption, summary number 186 as publicized. Councilman Pellerin? That motion carries unanimously. Now moving on to summary number 187, introduced by our Regional Planning Commission.
A resolution granting preliminary and final plat approval to a subdivision of property belonging to Barbara Gadar, located on Romero Road, District 1, to subdivide 13.971 acres of property into 5 lots for residential use, subject to compliance with Planning Commission Staff Report PC 2024-0013. All is reviewed and recommended by the Iberia Parish Regional Planning Commission.
Do I have a motion? Have a motion on the floor by Councilman Mathurin. I need a second, members. Second by Councilman Pellerin. Councilman Mathurin, discussion.
Brian, this one is District 14, even though it says 1.
We gotta get this right.
I spoke to Jacob on this one, and this one I'm kind of glad to see because this property at one time was considered a nuisance property, a blighted property, and the landowners have worked tirelessly to clean it up. I think Jacob said he's already received the drainage analysis on it.
Yes, sir.
So
We
anything
got it
else that
today.
we need to add to it?
Not at this time. The drainage analysis usually comes after this point anyway, but we've already received it because it
already
was a
received it.
small development. It's
Right.
14 acres with not much changing but 5 houses. So we're creating 5 residential lots. It was an existing park, and it's, has a road, but a little bit of improvement to be made to that road, but they have to prove it, and we're getting there.
Yeah, I'm glad to see that one's been developed and done something with.
Yep.
I'd appreciate some support on this one.
The gentleman kneels back. Gentleman from District 10 is
Wait.
recognized. Mr. Mathurin, did you want to make a motion to amend the language to include District 14 instead of 1?
Yes.
Have a motion on the floor to amend the language to include District 14.
Waive.
Second, okay, by the,
Wade.
okay. Vote your machines on the amendment, members. That motion carries unanimously. Now vote your machines on final adoption of summary number 187 as amended. Councilwoman Brown, that motion carries unanimously. Now moving on to summary number 188, introduced by Regional Planning Commission.
A resolution granting preliminary and final plat approval to a subdivision of property belonging to Lacey Miguez and Aubrey Wally, located on 5904 Ozone Road in District 10, to subdivide 23.886 acres of property into 5 lots for residential use, subject to compliance with Planning Commission Staff Report PC 2024-0014. All as reviewed and recommended by Iberia Parish Regional Planning Commission.
Do I have a motion? I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Pellerin. Do I have a second? Not all at one time, members. Second by Councilwoman Broussard. Councilman Pellerin, discussion.
I can confirm this one is in District 10. And I'm glad to see people moving into District 10. You can discuss it, Jacob.
Yes, this was just a simple plat. It was just so big that we had to go to planning. So 5 lots, 23 acres, everything's meeting frontage, really long lots, but everything met our ordinance, so we're good.
The gentleman from District 10 yields back. The gentlewoman from District 6 is recognized.
Wave.
Councilman Rossini? Wait. Any main motion discussion, members? Hearing and seeing none, vote your machines on final adoption, summary number 188 as publicized. Councilman Napier? That motion carries unanimously. We do have an expansion for resolutions, members. Number one, discuss and consider a motion to expand the agenda to discuss and consider the following items. Summary number 189, introduced by the parish president. Madam Clerk.
A resolution authorizing the parish president to enter into an agreement by and between Iberia Parish Government, Tesh Vermillion Freshwater District, and Southern Constructors LLC for removal of conflicting and down trees caused by Hurricane Francine across the Tesh Lake, aka Lorville Canal, which is necessary to access the control structure.
Go ahead, the purpose.
The purpose of this expansion is to expedite the process for Iberia Parish Government to enter into an agreement with Tesh Vermillion Freshwater District and Southern Constructors LLC to remove trees in the Tesh Lake, aka Lurville Canal, to access the control structure.
All right, members, I need a motion to suspend the rules. It didn't go to committee. I have a motion on the floor to suspend the rules by Councilman Rossney, second by Councilman Landry. Vote your machines on suspension. Councilman Napier, Councilman Trahone. That motion carries unanimously. We're now suspending the rules. I need a motion to go into public hearing. A motion by Councilman Rossney, second by Councilman Pellerin. Vote your machines to go into public hearing, members. Councilman Trahone. That motion carries unanimously. We're now into public hearing. Is there anyone from the general public that wants to speak on expansion item 1? If you want to state, you can step to the mic. Remember, if y'all want to turn those pictures on.
Good evening, Mr. President, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the council. I got some good news for y'all.
Just state your name first.
My name is Pat Caffrey Jr., 5801 Sugar Oaks Road, and I'm here to talk about trees, not politics.
Not politics.
Figured y'all like that. Ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at massive white oaks, water oaks that have blocked the Tesh Lake Canal from the Bayou Tesh almost all the way to the Tesh Lake Canal flood control gate. This particular tree is almost touching the Highway 86 bridge as you go into Lorville. I worked very diligently along with Parish President Richard when the Corps of Engineers was here to try to convince them to remove these trees. I worked with Congressman Clay Higgins' office with a guy named Greg Ellison who could not convince the Corps to do this, saying it was out of their jurisdiction, it was the parish's responsibility, on and on and on. As the resolution said, the Tesh Vermillion Freshwater District has agreed to cover half of the cost and is asking the parish to cover the other half of the cost. These things, in my opinion, are a hazard to navigation in addition to being an impediment to drainage. And I would ask and hope that the council would agree to put up the balance of the funds to do this. It really, really needs to be done. It's dangerous. Many years ago, a young man was killed at the mouth of this, not because of a tree, but because of a barge. So there is danger in leaving these things in the canal. Any questions?
Members, do we have any questions? We may have one by Councilman Broussard.
Yeah, not so much a question for Mr. Pat. There's multiple trees. It's not just one, right? There's many.
Yes, there's trees. In fact, I actually went there this morning to reassess everything, and there's actually a tree past the gate right where you come out of the Marshfield boat landing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to mention that, hoping that Mr. LeBeau can grab that one while he's there, because it's very close. It'd be very easy to get. I mean, traffic can't get through the canal to the lake. It's impossible.
You're absolutely right, Pat.
Any other questions?
We do have one by Councilman Rossney.
No, I just
Yes,
wanna
sir.
say Thank you for working to get this done. But you threw me a curveball right there with the Corps of Engineer. We had a tree fall, if I remember right, a couple years back, and we had to beg the Corps of Engineer to pull the tree out.
Well, they
Now,
they did a massive Bayou Tesh cleanup earlier this year, and I even took the captain of the barge, the deck barge. I took him in this Tesh Lake Canal and showed him all these things, so he'd have an idea and he could report back to his bosses, so that hopefully something would happen. But when those people make up their minds not to do it, they're not going to do it. Anything else?
Councilwoman Broussard on the question?
Who was the photographer?
My wife,
Yeah.
Miss Caffrey.
Beautiful pictures.
Councilman Broussard again?
Yeah, I have a similar issue
on my district that one of the trees fell into the back off of Bayou Teche that was just clean. Are we gonna go through the same, is that gonna be the same? It's Army Corps of Engineer, it's gonna be, I think you're aware of it. What's that? Yeah, whoever can speak to it.
We're
but-
working
on Belmont,
Yeah, we're working on it right now, but I'd like to finish this one if I can.
Oh,
first.
that's right.
Well,
It's a
let's
similar
get to it and then
circumstance,
we'll-
that's why I'm just, not
Yeah,
so much
two
about
separate
Belmont, but the process. I want to be able to understand it if it's similar.
He does have a
Okay.
pretty sweet deal with that
I'll
coming
answer
up.
for you.
Mr. Caffrey, did you want to finish on closing?
Ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have. I just need a unanimous yes.
Pat, come see us when you don't need something sometimes, you know, just to Wait a visit. second. Pat.
I'll make a note of that.
Pat, okay, if I can address something to Pat, Mr. Chairman. Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Pat, the half for Iberia Parish to pay was gonna be $33,625.
I didn't know the exact figure. Okay.
I ended up speaking to Seth, who is an awesome guy. He's gonna pay half of our costs. So we're going to end up paying $16,812.50.
Now this is Seth Babineau.
Yes. So we're in great shape.
You got that in writing, Mr. President?
Surely do. We're good. In fact, I talked about it before in my parish president's announcement.
Hey, I'm just teasing. Whatever you do is good with me.
Okay. Now the next thing is in reference to the one off of what is it, Belmont? Let's get to the resolution and
Okay.
we'll do that.
Yeah, I
okay?
didn't realize.
All right, members, we
lost
don't
track
have
of
any
where we
other
were in the
main motion
process, so I apologize.
I'm sorry, members, we do, by Councilman Pellerin.
No,
Okay. I need a motion to go back into the regular session. I have
That's
that
what I was trying
motion by Councilman Pellerin, second by Councilman Ralston. Motion machines to go back to regular session, members. Let the record reflect that Councilman Napier is absent at voting. That motion, he's absent. That motion passes unanimously. Now I need a motion to expand the agenda. I have a motion by Councilman Ralston, second by Councilman Pellerin. Voting machines on expansion, members. Non-debatable. Exactly. Let the record reflect that Councilman Napier is still absent. That motion carries unanimously. Now I need a motion to go back into regular, a motion to open up, members. Have a motion on the floor by Councilman Ralston, second by Councilman Pellerin. Councilman Ralston, on discussion.
Oh, this is a great thing. I mean, this fell in our lap, thanks to Mr. Caffrey, and great news on the money also. I mean, it's a drop in the bucket for what the safety of the citizens and the throughways, so, thank you.
Gentleman from District 10 is recognized.
Yeah, so when Warren brought this to my attention last week, I kind of looked at him like he was crazy, but after talking to the superintendent of the Southern Constructors, I see the reason why we're getting a sweet deal on this. And this is one of those deals, kind of like the Bayou Teche. I mean, we can't pass this up. I actually went down this canal last year to go to the Gumbo Cook-Off. We put down in the Bayou Teche, came back around lake, and went down this canal, and I definitely won't be able to go down this canal this year. So I think this is a great opportunity for us
It'll be done
to,
in a little bit.
great opportunity for us, and I think we need to jump on this.
The gentleman yields back. Did you want to finish what you had earlier, Larry, that pertains to this? We're fixing to vote We're on final done with adoption. that. I'm just saying that it's gonna be 16,812.50. Okay. Hearing no other main motion discussions, members, vote your machines on final adoption on the expansion number 1. That motion carries unanimously. Now moving on to ordinances introduced for publication. There is none. Announcements, just to remind the general public, our next council meeting is October 9th. Please visit our website to take the stormwater management survey and our beautiful adjudicated properties that are available through Civic Source. Have a motion to adjourn by Councilman Pellerin, second by Councilman Brown. Vote your machines on adjournment, members. That motion carries unanimously. We'll take a 5-minute recess and then we'll go to committee. Councilman Mathurin, and then she's not here. That motion carries unanimously. We're now into public comments. Number 1, comments from the general public on agenda items. Anyone from the general public that didn't have a chance to fill out a card? Hearing and seeing none. Number 2, comments from the general public on non-agenda items. Members, we did not receive any. I need a motion to go back into regular session. I have that by Councilwoman Broussard, second by Councilman Pollard. Vote your machines, members, to go back into regular session. Councilman Landry? That motion carries unanimously. We're now back into regular session. Next, we have the minutes for special joint committee meeting of September 18th, 2024. Do I have a motion to accept? Have a motion on the floor by Councilman Broussard, second by Councilman Trahan. Vote your machines, members. Councilman Brown? That motion carries unanimously.
Now, moving on to the executive committee. Councilman Landry, did you want to stay or are you moving?
I'll move this time for you.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilman.
For you, Warren.
You know what you're doing this time?
I know you wasn't here when the machine was going crazy. Gonna call the executive committee to order. The time is 7:51. Number one, discuss and consider an ordinance declaring the Sugarcane Festival building and certain surrounding immovable property in New Iberia City Park as surplus property, and further authorizing the transfer to the city of New Iberia, and to authorize the parish president to execute any agreements necessary to carry out the intent and purpose of this ordinance, providing for the effective date thereof, and otherwise providing with respect thereto. Parish President, I have a motion by Brock Pellerin. I need a second. Second by Cayman Capel. Brock.
Yeah, this is something we've been discussing for the past few weeks, and I think been going for the past couple of years too. I really think this is a great idea. You know, this is one of those buildings that costs us a lot of money year after year with the maintenance and upkeep of this building. From what I hear, the city has a plan for the building and the property around it. My question, well, I know we had an incident here last week with the sprinkler system. Is that something we're filing an insurance claim on?
We're looking into all of that right now, yes.
Okay, so we don't have any answers on that yet. I'm very supportive of this. I hope everyone would be supportive of it too.
Thank you.
I'm good.
Cayman?
I'll second what Brock said.
Okay. Warren?
If I can, I'd like to. I'm sorry.
Okay, I got
Warren.
Warren first and then I'll.
I guess, a couple of questions for Ian. When we talking about this, obviously, we had the agreement between the city and the parish for us to retain Veterans Memorial. Did we check into where Devil's Pond is, that tract of land? Are we gonna have to subdivide that tract of land or identify within the CEA?
So we're recommending that we get a survey. I'm recommending that we get a survey. I'm pretty sure that the city's attorney would agree, because we're going from a situation where basically we owned it, the city operates the park, and they want to retain, you know, pretty much all of the park, but we need a way to access the Veterans Building, which we're going to retain, and then we still have the National Guard that we're going to retain.
And when you say the access to that, that would be a permanent for us, not just a right of usage, correct?
Yeah, it would be you know, ownership.
Oh, yeah.
So that entails hiring a surveyor, which we'd actually recommend expanding this tonight's committee agenda to approve, or we could do it at the next meeting by suspension of the rules to approve, allocating some funds towards that survey.
I don't have a problem expanding this, it'd be germane. Do you know about how much you need?
15.
15,000?
Yeah, not to exceed 15,000. We talked to the engineering company. It could be as little as 5. We don't really know, but the deal is
Just wanna make sure.
we want to make sure we have enough money so we don't have to come back and do
So
it again.
before we duplicate this, have we talked to the city, or has Jeff indicated to you? At some point, I think they might have had somebody survey that property. Are we able to use that plat?
They didn't provide us with the survey. I'm not sure what the status of the survey is. I had requested any sort of surveys or appraisals that they had done. I didn't receive any. I have been, you know, working with Jeff. There are some legal issues. Anytime you've got government subdivisions and exchanges or transfers or sales of property, you know it's not as simple as it should be. But we're going to try and work through all those issues. That's the reason it's on the agenda now, is because just to surplus it is going to take an ordinance, and then the actual transfer, I'm recommending that we do it in the same ordinance.
So I guess the question is,
Or
like you
authorized in
said,
the
you
same
kind of,
ordinance.
I think you kind of brushed on it a little bit. Usually when we do something in government, we have to get something in return. And by them giving us full access to the parking lot or the access to veterans, would that be sufficient enough in return for us to have a wash?
So that's something that I'm also working with with Jeff on to make sure that we're covered. So there does have to be an exchange of value, and one of the things you need to keep in consideration is the value that it would bring to the citizens of the parish if those improvements were made. So I think that's something that we can use, as well as the value that it brings to the parish of decreased maintenance, those costs, and the, you know, all the future maintenance of the building.
And I guess the last question I had for you, I'm sure we've researched in-house to make sure there's no contractuals between the association and parish government or any other entity like the city previously to this point.
I'm not sure what you're referring to.
Well, I want to make sure that at some point when the building or any contingencies that might have been being created previously or contractuals between us and the association. I know at one time there was a contractual between the association and us. I'm not sure if that's still active or we've had something that we have now that kind of trumps that.
Well, if there's contractual obligations as part of the transfer, we would assign those obligations to whoever's the city in this case.
Okay.
And then it would be up to them to negotiate if necessary to change those.
I'm good. I'm just glad we're at this point. Thank you very much for the hard work.
Larry? I think this is a great opportunity for Iberia Parish, to be honest with you. We have a way to get out of some potential risks, if you get where I'm coming from. So for Iberia Parish and for the city, they have an opportunity to get some funds to make this a functional place. At the end of the day, when they make it a functional place, it's a functional place for everyone within Iberia Parish. You know, so for us, we didn't have that opportunity. So hopefully we can actually do what we have to do, give this to the city. But before we move forward, we have to make sure that we get it surveyed. We have to make sure everything is correct, because you just have to make sure everything is done properly if I'm gonna sign off on it anyway.
I think we're on the right road.
So I'm thinking we should move on, as far as I'm concerned.
All right, what's next?
As far as for expanding the agenda, for the money, we're gonna do that in finance committee, right?
Why don't you do it now?
We could do it now. We could do it in finance.
Right now?
Yeah.
Get the ball rolling.
I'll make a motion to include up to
15,000.
Yes.
15?
And I guess 15,000 from public buildings?
From public buildings, if we don't use it, it goes, whatever we don't use, go back.
So, Mr. Chairman, without objection, I'd like to make a motion on the floor to entertain an amendment to include 15,000 from the public building fund.
And I just wanna suggest that we include it as an expansion with a new resolution, because this 2 weeks from now is gonna be going to publication, and your resolution for funding would be at full council for passage, rather than amending it to the ordinance. I don't know.
So you want to expand then?
I would recommend an
Yeah,
expansion.
because the ordinance would lock up for 2 weeks for
Right.
publication, whereas we could get the funding within 2 weeks to you at the next
Right.
council meeting.
Either that or suspend the rules next meeting, but we're here right now. so-
We can do that if
You want to do it tonight, or you want to do it next week? Next meeting?
What we need to do.
we'll put it on full council and then the next suspension of the rules.
We need to try to get the funds so I can get an engineering company to start the
Right.
survey.
So, Mr. Chairman, I'll waive that motion to amend.
Okay.
Okay.
Brock?
I was just gonna second his, motion.
If it's nothing else, we need a vote on, the number one.
All right.
You got it, baby.
Okay, it's rolling.
That motion passes. Need a motion to
Move.
move by Brock Pellerin, second by Marcus Broussard. Vote your machine. To adjourn.
All right. On the road.
All in favor?
All in favor, say aye.
So they did put the 15,000 in this one.
We didn't put it in the ordinance because it wouldn't have got passed next.
So we're gonna suspend the rules next week.
That's the best we can do without that.
Because we'll get it 2 weeks quicker.
I hereby call the Finance Committee meeting to order. It's September 25th, 2024, 8 p.m. Number one, discuss and consider a resolution amending the 2024 Public Building Maintenance Fund budget in the amount of $5,682 to appropriate funding for replacement of AC repairs at the jail facility, all to be funded from the fund balance previous year's line item, Warren P. Goshen, District 5. I got a motion by Warren, I got a second by Mr. Brown. Mr. Goshen, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I was in talks amongst the sheriff and the parish president. There was an emergency repair or replace, and that's the reason this came up. It was actually at the evidence building on the premises of the jail. So that's what you're seeing tonight is the emergency replacement, correct?
Yeah, basically what's gonna happen, we're gonna reimburse the sheriff department, so we don't have an audit exception because of the way it was done.
Yeah.
We're gonna reimburse the sheriff department the amount of money that he has to pay to the, company that actually did the repair work for him. If we do it the opposite way, we actually went against our,
Yeah, 5,000 is the limit.
1,000 is the limit.
Oh, it's 1,000.
Mr. Chairman, I didn't want to put that out there on the record, but
I didn't either.
Well, that's-
basically.
Okay, well, I'm
But
sorry.
for now on, moving
Yeah,
forward,
so
any
let's not ask
departments.
stuff like that next time.
Yeah, any departments,
Wait a minute.
I'm just kidding, I'm just kidding.
any and all departments should also go to Michael Broussard for any procurement issues.
But we got this is
Actually,
done.
the
Hold on,
sheriff,
hold
if
on,
you
let me go
wanna
back.
blame
Let me go,
somebody,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Let me go to Mr. Brown.
That's it.
Wait, all right, you want to?
I'd best keep my mouth shut on this one.
Not all the time.
Yeah. All right, any further discussion? Hearing none. Please vote your machines.
Brian, you
That
know
motion
this?
passes unanimously. I need a motion to adjourn. I got a motion by Mr. Goshen, second by Mr. Pollard. Vote your machines on adjournment.
Oh, did he?
Yes, it needs to.
Brian, Mr. Bryan,
I'm sorry. What-
Mr.
what did it-
Brock, Mr. Marcus.
Marcus.
This is
Come
John.
on, vote your
Adjournment.
machines.
Vote.
All
Okay.
right.
Meeting adjourned.
That's it. All right, I'll call the Public Health and Safety Committee meeting to order. The time is 8:03 on September 25th. Item 1, discuss and consider incorporating behavioral health to the Public Health and Safety Committee due to the growing importance of mental health, addiction services, and overall well-being of the community in an effort to reduce the following: 1, disease and injury prevention; 2, health promotion; 3, reduction of health disparities; and 4, mental and behavioral health services. Lady Fontenette Brown, District 12. I have a motion by Mr. Chad Maturin. Do I have a second? I have a second by Mr. Michael Landry. Mr. Maturin?
Opinion, any other discussion, Mrs. Brown asked that we defer to the next meeting. She would, she had to leave, so pick it up the next meeting. I'm moving forward, it's fine with me.
All right, is there any other discussion on the main motion before deferment? So I have a motion to defer. Is that okay with the second, Mr. Landry? In discussion on the deferment to the next meeting?
Because I don't understand what she's asking for. Okay.
You can vote
All right.
So we voting
to defer to the next meeting.
Okay.
Mr. Kamen.
Jamie?
Okay.
That motion carries.
Wait, we had something else.
Next, we have item number 2, discuss and consider an ordinance.
That's me.
Oh, I'm
No,
jumping?
No, that's you.
That's it.
No,
Got
that's
it.
still you.
That's it.
Macy, you want to be messing me up?
I am sorry, Natalie.
Discuss and consider an ordinance for the regulation of public sewers and drains, private wastewater disposal, sewage system, construction procedure, discharge of waters and waste into public sewer systems, development and implementation of a pretreatment plan in sewage district number 1 of Iberia Parish, the installation and connection of building sewers, providing penalties for violations thereof, and otherwise providing with respect thereto. Legal counsel. I have a motion by Mr. Goshesan and a second by Mr. Napier. Mr. Goshesan?
Madam Chair, if you don't mind, I'd like to bring, I know Mr. Crater somewhere is in here. If you could just kind of briefly explain to the council where we at this, or how we got to this point.
Good evening, everyone. How are y'all? Brad Crater, Director for Sewer District Number 1 in Waterworks District 3. So this, what you're looking right here for this ordinance, basically with the, with First Solar coming in, this new company coming in, Iberia Parish has not been very heavily introduced to industrial developments. So in a nutshell, this is what's happening. The sewer that we are going to be sending from First Solar will go to the City of New Iberia treatment plant. And that plant is regulated for a certain amount of gallons per day. That would be 6 million gallons per day. We anticipate that at the height of the First Solar discharge for sewer, we could be sending 1 million gallons per day of sewer discharge to the City of New Iberia. So what we're doing with this ordinance is we have started to develop a pre-treatment plan. Most larger parishes, cities, municipalities, they have this already. This pre-treatment plant is basically schematic detail and evaluation on what we can allow from an industry into a sewer treatment plant that will not impact the integrity of that treatment plant or the surrounding environment. Normally regulated by Department of Environmental Quality and EPA. Now, luckily, we've gotten ahead of this. We notified the DEQ and EPA of this industry coming in. So by developing our ordinance right now and setting a regulation and setting a template on how we're going to evaluate companies coming in the future, we are not going to be mandated to trigger the pretreatment plan at the moment. But in other words, we're being proactive and developing a plan that A, DEQ and EPA will accept in the long term, and B, provide us with the opportunity to evaluate industries that want to come into our parish in the future. I can go into a lot more detail if you like, but I'd rather entertain questions if needed.
That was perfect. That's exactly what I needed. Thank you, Brad.
Mr. Gotcherson?
I'll wait, Madam Chair.
Mr. Napier?
I'm good, Brad, what you said. I'm just, if our legal, if Ian has anything to add to it, because it actually comes from legal, it looks like, on the agenda. I don't know if you had anything to add, Ian?
I'm working closely with Brad and for developing these, and basically have to comply with state and federal law, and that's why this thing is about 49 pages. But my understanding is that we're not really changing our core like sewer ordinance. We're including it in this giant package, but that's just to make it simple so that there is one place that you have to look if you're coming to Iberia Parish to see all the regulations you have to follow for sewer.
If I may, one more, ma'am, if
Yes,
I may.
sure.
So to be clear, the regulations have been vetted multiple times. So what you're looking at right now is probably the fourth iteration of what we've looked at. That is number one. Number two, a lot of what we've done to it for the current ordinance we have is cleaning up of old language, right? We deal with that a lot in our government, and trying to modernize that language. But also, more importantly, we hired a consultant company out of Dallas, Texas, who is well-versed in pre-treatment, and that's what's the heavy part of this program. The company that we hired, they're not just water treatment specialists, they're biologists, environmentalists. They're well-versed in how do we prevent environmental pollutants from going into our area. And that's what we're trying to tackle. Because with a large industry, you want to make sure that what they discharge into our system doesn't harm our environment, or more importantly, our treatment plant. So I'm working with them, contractors, our engineer, Mr. Ian Alpha as well. And again, this is our 4th iteration of this. We still have a little bit left to go.
Part of the pretreatment plan is also legal remedies and enforcement, criminal penalties, civil fines, the ability to go to court and make them turn off the tap so that they can't discharge anymore. So that's all wrapped up into this, as well as the monitoring, self-monitoring, spot checking monitoring. There's a lot to it, but like Brad said, we're trying to get ahead of this. So any questions you guys have, just send them to me and Brad. And if y'all want to see the day of current ordinance, you know, we're pretty much fine tuning it at this point. So just reach out and we'll send it to you, no problem. We get it in the packet for before final passage, but it's pretty long. So if you are interested in this in particular, I would suggest reaching out now sooner rather than later.
Mr. Napier, you're good?
I'm good. Thank you, Brad. Thank you, Ian.
Mr. Pellerin?
Yeah, Brad, I just want to say thank you. Every time you have something on the agenda, you really break it down where everybody can understand what's going on. You do a phenomenal job, man. Thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Mr. Pellerin, you finished?
Need something, believe me.
Mr. Broussard?
He almost breaks it down simple for everybody, but I'm a little off. So you're addressing all of the ordinance, commercial, residential, and industrial, because we talk a lot about industrial. Is this so when something's zoned industrial, whether a business comes in, that this ordinance is address industrial only, or y'all looking at the whole top, you know, from the
So
residential home all the way to the?
We are actually looking at all of it. However,
And this is something that hadn't been addressed yet, so y'all making sure y'all closing that gap quickly.
we are closing that gap quickly. I'll elaborate a little further on that. I think there are more. So enjoy the rabbit hole. I think there's a little bit more that we need to look at as far as how do we develop our area as far as, let's say, impact fees for sewer and water, correct? There's always an impact on our areas whenever you have industry or commercial or residential come into an area, and you have to figure out how to offset that cost. However, I would rather have an actual proper survey and evaluation done by a consulting company for that. So from the residential and commercial side, I don't want to affect too much change on that at all right now because I don't have good data. However, I do have good data based upon DEQ results and tests and EPA results and tests on what heavy metals and contaminants do to the environment around our area. So long story short, by far the majority of this change is industrial. However, we're cleaning up verbiage for residential and commercial with a look to the future on how do we make our parish better, but more importantly, provide the right funding and services to promote development of all areas, residential, commercial, and industrial, into our parish.
Yep,
Mr.
I'm good.
Broussard?
Yep, thank you.
I don't see anybody else on the board. Are we ready to move this to full council, or do y'all need more time to keep fine tuning it?
I would say from my perspective, ma'am, there are maybe 2 or 3 minor items that need to be talked about. But this is about 9 months in the making. So we will be ready for a full council. Mr. Ian, would you, maybe in a month or so?
I think we can make it, but if it ends up on the day for final passage in front of the council and we need some time, I'm not embarrassed to ask for time. And if y'all say why, I'll tell you why.
Alright.
You know I'm not.
We see no other discussion. Roll call?
Vote?
Yes, vote.
Gotcha.
That motion carries. I need a motion to adjourn.
Got it.
Have that by Mr. Gachasat and Mr. Pollard.
Vote.
Vote your machine start.
Vote if y'all wanna go.
Y'all wanna go or y'all?
Unless y'all wanna stay here.
Who cares?